I'm returning to love more and more, partly in preparation for my workshop in Houston, which is for the gods, melanin dominant men and women who truly are the black sheep of the family. Hold on. Okay, here we go. YouTube is up. Melanin dominant gods, men and women who are the black sheep of the family. Like you've always been the weird kid in the family, right? You've always been, when you were a kid, you were seeing things the adults couldn't see. You were maybe you were very introspect. Your personality has always been introspective, introverted, and you've always been like this. You've always been the different kid. Maybe you were bullied. These are some of the common experiences of those of us who have always been different. And you've always been very much into true nature, like true nature, which when you're a human being who's truly into true nature, like you don't fit well into the system because like when true nature, like your whole, remember that scene on Sex and the City where Carrie went to go try on wedding dresses and then she broke out in hives and she was like, oh my god, my body is rejecting marriage. And and I like to discern the difference between traditional marriage and spiritual marriage, right? A true spiritual marriage, somebody is for you, period. You belong to each other, period. You may not always end up being together because half the time we're not really living from our nature. More than half the time, we're not really living from our nature. So either she ends up marrying somebody because, right, they were young and in love or whatever, or he ended up marrying somebody because he got her pregnant. Like these decisions we start making when we're young, and it's out of our actual nature that would have, if we were in our true nature, we would end up in a marriage that we wouldn't even be thinking about traditional marriage because we would be so married spiritually. It would be known, it would be done. It's just those kind of marriages. And those happen, right? It's relatively rare, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Thank you for the compliment, Universal Muse. Um, so just to be clear, I'm saying that just to be clear when I talk about those of us who truly are different, it never goes away. Even if we make decisions that link us into an unnatural life and then we get older and then we're living in the consequence of that unnatural life, it never goes away. What I'm getting at here though is although I'm constantly a return to love. My name is Naima, by the way, founder of the Academy for Womanhood, if you're new here. And I'm in the business of helping women grow up. My company offers mentorship, coaching, and digital products to help women come into their full power. If you'd like to see some of the things that we offer, you can go to the link in my bio and you can see some of what we offer there. Today's topic, though, the suspect and demonization of the woman's body. This is in part what I was talking about earlier today before my battery went dead on my cell phone when I was talking about the erotic creative power of a woman. And I was linking that to what's a common trajectory for women, which is where we give up our most precious, we give up our life force energy, we give up our true self, our true essence, our true being, and the fullness of that being in exchange for having somewhere to sleep and feeling this level of pseudo safety and pseudo love and to fit well into the system, right? And it's a great way to keep a woman out of her true authentic power. And right now, what I'd like to talk about, and I'm only going to be here for maybe, I have to go, so I can be here for maybe 25 minutes. Um, Linking that to the topic now of the suspect and demonization of the woman's body, before I get into it, I want to come say hello to those of you who are already liking the live. Thank you, Indigo. Welcome in, lady. Akia. Who else? Eva. Thank you for liking the live, Eva. Hello, Supernova. I've seen your name before, I think. IKIY. Universal Muse. Thank you for the hearts. We already got over 1,000 hearts. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Queen Stardust. Hello, Miss Lipstick. I'm assuming that's the woman. Look, I'm assuming. Hello, Miss Lipstick. Uh, Welcome back, 22-year-old. Welcome back. So, what's up, YouTube? Y'all be so quiet. But hello, YouTube. You're welcome to chime in, okay? So the topic, before we go further, I want to offer up what I think, well, it's my second most affordable solution. Some of you may not be ready for community, okay? You're not ready for the kind of my community, like, I care about it. I made it on purpose to be able to serve more women in an affordable way. Because the truth is, most women just can't afford to work with me in the ways that they would like to. So the woman community is there to be accessible. It's $99 a month. Okay. But some women aren't ready for that kind of what may feel like pressure or commitment. Fine. So the next second best, most affordable option to help you come into your full power and womanhood as a woman that really deals with the root of you, the primal of you, the essence of you that you need to be able to be consistent in your content creation, even in your other artistry. I've had actresses and singers and other creative types buy Heal Your Witch Wound and love it. Content creators, and women who are just living their everyday lives and are feeling stuck, are low energy, are needing to make life like really big woman decisions, but she feels like a little girl and she wants to be an adult. So the real how I'm linking this to today's topic, first of all, so before I link it, because that's where we're going right now in a moment, you need to get Heal Your Witch Wound. If you have been watching my content for a while, like especially if you come here regularly, okay, some of you are new here. If you come here regularly, okay, you're waiting to get the notification on YouTube. You either like or share or repost or save or engage with my TikTok content. And you know that you're playing small or um, just this way that you may have not even noticed about yourself that you're constantly inhaling stuff online. You're just constantly inhaling things online, but you're not actually moving to produce the result. And part of you can't move in a way. And I don't mean that and like you just can't move. I mean, there's a kind of like not feeling capable or not having the energy that your vision requires, that your creative project requires. And what's missing that we often don't know is that connection with our deep, vibrant self that is so the way that I can be on here like this is because the way I can be consistent, the way I've been doing this work for almost 13 years. Like, nobody can do this unless they're connected to that deeper root, supernatural, electric, primal essence. Do you want that for yourself or no? No, I don't want that. I like I told one of my members the other day, because these limitations I'm in because of my money. I cut her off. I said, "You like the limitations." She started laughing. You like the limitations. So I share that with you. Do you like the limitations that you're in? See, because when we start telling the truth, especially when you have a master sex shame healer, a master coach, a woman who's playing in the domain of dangerous, of taboo, of really uncovering what's in the way of my voice, my like why is my walk a lie, my talk a lie? Why am I so two-faced, three-faced, four-faced? Can't get my creative projects off the ground. Like so when you start, if you really want to be friends with close friends with, manifestation relationships. You really are sincere about up leveling, about playing a bigger game, being true love, bringing your creative projects to true life. And you come around women like me, this happens, but baby, you're not ready for that. And that's why you haven't bought Heal Your Witch Wound. That's why you haven't come to my womanhood initiation. So I ask you, who wants to answer that? Who's ready to level up for real? Who's ready to level up for real? Let me know in the comments. Who's ready to level up for real? Because leveling up does not come from just sitting and looking at people on the internet. I mean, it's nice, but even for those of you who are looking at other people, like Shira is popular, right? Shira tells you things to do. You don't just sit and watch Shira. You do what Shira tells you to do, assuming you want what Shira is teaching you how to get, right? There's things to do, meaning there's decisions to make. There's products and services to buy. There's action to take. And when you're steady with that and you're sincere, then you get the desired result. So in this case, Kiki said, I'm ready. Supernova said me. Who else was that who said me? Lipstick said me. So first of all, if you are sincere about getting your creative projects off the ground, so what that could look like is you just can't seem to sit down and actually write the table of contents to your book. You just can't seem to sit down and put together a content creation calendar of the topics you actually want to talk about. Not the stuff you're already talking about or the things that you think are safe to talk about, but the darker, feminine, power, sexual, heart, death, life topics that you actually want to talk. You just can't seem to bring yourself online to either create the video itself or publish it. Kiki said, so true. What's so true, Kiki? You may have written the book, but you're just not, can't get yourself to publish it. Or now you published it, but now the power and visibility and ownership that you would need to sell the book, now that's too much. So let's get to, oh, they can't make myself sit down and create. Let's get to, so get Heal Your Witch Wound if these are your issues. You can get it right now with the link in my bio. Heal Your Witch Wound. Okay. That's the second most affordable option my company has to offer if you know you are not ready for accountability inside of community. Okay. Connecting this to the suspect and demonization of the woman's body while keeping in mind I have about 15 minutes I can be here, 15 more minutes. The suspect and demonization of the woman's body. If you didn't know, I have a newsletter that I publish every Monday. It's called the Erotic Path newsletter. Every Monday, I send it out to my email subscribers. It's called the Erotic Path newsletter. You can subscribe by going to the link in my bio. There's a lot of goodies at the link in my bio. Go to the link in my bio and you can subscribe there. It's free. What does heal your witch wound mean? I invite you and everybody here who wants to, what do you hear when you hear heal your witch wound? I'll answer this very briefly so I can continue with the topic today. I imagine some of you have already taken some kind of efforts to come into your power. And somewhere along the way, you have either stopped or you've gotten negative responses from people. Depending on how far you have gone, you have been called a witch. You have been called something along the lines of a suspicious, untrustworthy, who do you think you are? Scared of being called a witch, demon, Jezebel. Whenever you start getting closer to real power, See, when you cooking and cleaning and you're such a good woman. But whenever you start knowing who you are, you start wanting more time, more money. You start setting a standard for yourself that's not normal for women. You start talking about death and life and power and taboo. So if you haven't walked that path, maybe that's why you're asking me, what does that mean? But for any woman who has even started to take some steps, somebody has something to say, right? Your mama, your friends, your husband, your daddy, your boy. Yes or no? What you own? We can see it all over the internet. Women, your standards too high. You expecting too much. You want too much. You're expecting too much. So then a lot of women who are not strengthened in their knowing who they are and in that deep primal essence that I talk about, okay, and they cower and they accept living small lives that they quietly resent. So this is what I mean. Heal Your Witch Wound, my digital product that you can get right now, will help you start to tap into the power that nobody can give you, nobody takes away. It makes you highly magnetic, highly creative, authentic, true with who you are, and starting to awaken the true magnetic, creative, rapid manifestation power that you are, but you disconnected from so you could get a man, so you could get a job, so you could pretend like it's good, but deep inside you're hurting. You got cancer brewing. You're sick. You're resentful. You can't have what you most want. You can only get this is nice, but you can never have the thing that you most want, the thing that would bring you alive. Do you want that or no? That's too risky. I don't want that. I don't want that. Ain't no man gonna want my standards gonna be too high if I do that. Men gonna tell me I can't. I'm never gonna get a man with those kind of standards. Because that's where a lot of women are living. So this is what I mean. Okay. So these are the big girl decisions. This is a big girl decision, especially if you already live a good life, which is the enemy of great. A good life is the enemy of great. What's a good life? Big house in the suburbs, a husband who pays all the bills. You don't have to work. Maybe you don't have to work. Baby, and what you have traded to get food and housing. What you have traded to get food and housing. You've traded the very energy and power and manifestation ability that would have you be able to get 10 houses, to be able to live all over the world, to be able to make 10 times the money he made. But then no man gonna want you if you, then you won't be a woman. Then you're gonna be masculine. Girl, you come into your primal power. So anyway, does that answer your question about Heal Your Witch Wound? So my Heal Your Witch Wound product helps you come into this power that I'm talking about. Do you want that or no? KIY said the good life is not enough. Literal fear brought me out of the illusion of good. Hello. And good is very seductive. Good is so seductive. Good is so seductive because it's so good. Right? Like, oh God, I don't have to work. He pay all the bills. And then what do you give up in exchange for that? Your whole life. For food and housing. Okay. That's on you. Decide. Okay. So let me see how the time goes. The suspect and demonization of the woman's body. So one of the things that women, maybe you, thank you for liking the live Align Divine. Align Divine. Align Divine. Align Divine. Thank you. We have over 3,000 hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So what you may be struggling with right now is tension in your body. like very controlled and hyper vigilant, scared of taking up too much space. Like, you don't want to take up too much space. Maybe you want to stay out the way. Maybe you don't want to seem too much like you're fully yourself. You don't want people to be like, who do you think you are? Because you've had people say that to you when you sort of kind of started going in the direction of your power, right? Yes, no. What do you think you are? All that. So, what is not even just us? I know we're living in 2024 and it's easy to be absorbed in our own realities and sort of think that this is how it is. When there's been so much that has happened before you and I were even born, everybody alive today, there were things laid down. If we want to start talking about the invention of the Bible, how far back you want to go, okay? Of psychological and spiritual tracks, they were laid down on humans before you and I were born. So we got to just know that and be in a graciousness around that. Maybe some rage too, but a graciousness that there's a lot that we didn't create that's here. Then this us being influenced by all this, the genetics of the line that we come from, what our environment was like as children, what we picked up from living out here in the world. And for a woman, we know the common experience, right? Playing small, it's just so common. So many of us are going to go through some kind of sexual abuse, right? Trauma, right? It's the same old story. It's none of this stuff is new for the most part. For the most part, it's not new. Submit, right? Like that's what makes you good. Submit to a male, right? Because otherwise, one of those stories in the Bible is going to be assigned to you. Whole setup. Anyway, so as a consequence, and also as a consequence of removing the full feminine from the Bible, okay, or removing the full feminine from the Bible, we see the toxic feminine in the Bible, but not the full feminine, who's alive in her body, who's authentically loving, authentically, which you cannot be authentically loving from the inside out if you are not authentically loving of you, all of you, okay? And the seasons, if you will, of you, okay? So, and I'm gonna speed up here because I gotta go. So, the suspect and demonization of the woman's body is a consequence of removing the full feminine from humanity, from psychology. The woman just started being studied like the last few decades in a deeper way. Okay. And when I say study, I'm talking about up here. Okay. The body is a whole other conversation. But in the early 1900s, some of these videos you can see online, in the early 1900s, when housewives started to have different kind of neuroses because they were, submission was the high game, right? That was like what made you a woman. That's how you secured housing, food, was through submission. And what was happening was they started to have what today we would call mental illness. They were having psychosis, they were highly neurotic, because the game has always been to suppress actual order, to subscribe to fake order. Okay. So suppress your creativity as a woman, suppress who you really are. If you're ready to stop the suppression with a supreme tool, you need to get my Heal Your Witch Wound. Heal Your Witch Wound. The website is NaimaSingletary.com/witch wound. This is what I mean by this was all laid down before we got here, a lot of it. And just like so much of I'll use race since you all are so familiar with that, the race system, it does so much to maintain itself. The whole same system of keeping women in a certain place, they're going to fight like hell to keep that in place because it helps them keep their fake system and eat and extract from us the way they want to eat and extract. Okay. So housewives were starting to go to the doctor because they were having psychosis, they were neurotic, they were having things going on in the head, and they were being prescribed things like lithium. This is real, okay? There's videos when they first start. Okay, this can be enraging. You just got to understand all the dynamics at play. This is why I exist, my products exist, my company exists, to overturn all of this and return you to actual order. Actual order. Half of humanity wouldn't even be, we would have a whole breed of humans alive if women were in actual power. Okay. Anyway, so they started giving housewives lithium and different drugs, and they would say, oh, you're just, they would never actually see what's going on with them. They would be like, oh, you just need this. Oh, you just need to listen to your husband. Are you listening to your husband? What are you cooking? Like, are you really doing what he says do? It was all blamed on her. The same way when sexual shit happens with a woman today, immediately they're like, well, what were you doing? What were you wearing? This is how it's been forever, since long before we got here, okay? Because we just won't admit what the actual truth of things. So when I say we, I mean the larger society. So anyway, they were giving housewives lithium and other drugs. What's that other one? Anyway, to suppress your actual creative magnetic power that would return you to the fullness of what you are. So the fact that so many of us today are scared in our bodies, like we agree to our own binding for very good reason. We do. We agree to our own binding for very good reason, right? Prior to the night, not even prior, we can even go Iris, who was here with me. Iris is in her 60s. Iris is in her 60s, and she remembers her mom, her dad calling the crazy house on her mom when her mom wouldn't do what he said do. We don't have to go back that far. So some of us know these actual stories, and some of us just feel it in our bone marrow. We feel it in our spirit. Even if it never happened to us or anybody we know, we feel it in our spirit that we're going to be on the receiving end of male violence if we're actually true. And men, unfortunately, many of them continue to subscribe. It's like fighting for life for them. It's like fighting for life. Because if we return to actual order, which just let a woman be true. That's it. You don't make nothing. Just let a woman be honest. Half the men would disappear. They wouldn't want to have nothing to do with her. Look what's happening today with the girls who are under 30. Look what's happening with them being under 30 and no longer contorting themselves into these small wife material things, contorting her body, contorting her voice, all unnatural, constructing a whole series of personalities that stimulate sickness to get a husband, because now they don't need him for food and housing. And look at what the men are doing. Look at what the young boys 18 to 28, 18 to 30 are doing. What are they doing? They're checking out. Do you see what this is what I mean by this is the real order? They're checking out. They're hooked into video games and porn, right? But as soon as you just throw on a smile and just, we know exactly what to do to make the male feel important, right? And it's all a charade. Yes or no? Versus actually enjoying being in the presence of a being and smiling and talking because you're actually enjoying it, because you actually want to be there. You're not like trying to do something to look likable. You're not trying to do something to appear like the version of feminine that they have said it. You're not trying to be something. You're just being yourself. And if you were being yourself, you would talk honestly. You would say, I don't like that. You would ask certain questions to get to know things instead of holding your tongue, because then you won't look feminine. Then you won't. So this is why when I know too much. I'm experienced with, first of all, I'm a woman. I work in the trenches with women in the realm of authenticity and primal power. And I know that women are lying 98% of the time. They're lying. And that's order. That's the right way. That's the righteous. God definitely is looking down on us saying, I mean, we know there's no God looking down on us, but God is definitely looking at us like, order. This is correct. This is right. Authenticity. True beings in right relationship. So, because the full feminine has been, thank you for liking the live, everyone. Aquarius, live. Because the full feminine has been removed, dishonesty can never be order. Exactly. Dishonesty can never be order. And so, because the full feminine has been removed from the psychology of humans and just the basic how we walk around looking at what's normal, just everyday humans walking around, eating, drinking, going to work, going to the grocery store, being with friends and family, just our baked in deep psychology is stripped of the full feminine. So if we were to actually see a woman in her full feminine, we have stories and names and a way of being and thinking about her that is rooted in suspicion and demonization. Like I talked earlier, okay, I'm over time, but I really want to get this out. I talked earlier about my niece who's 3, or any of you who have small children, okay, who are in their truest primal state, raw. They're not performing for anybody, right? My niece, she walks around in her underwear and has her hair be out. She wants to play. She wants to lay on me. She skips through the house. She's not going anywhere. She's skipping, running. Why are you running? Because that is reflection of being alive. Your small kids just running through the house. Why are you running? That's that energy. Running nowhere. Jump, just come in the room, get on the bed, and just start jumping in the bed. How many of y'all just walk in your bedroom and start jumping in the bed? How many of you walk into your bedroom and be so alive that you get on your bed and start jumping in the bed? Huh? How many of y'all just run through the house? Run through the house. Huh? Just running. Running to the kitchen, running to the living room. This is an expression of being alive, right? And we allow it because they're 3. We think it's cute because they're 2. 1, especially if you got cute ass kids. And everybody think they kids cute. But you know them exceptionally cute kids? My niece is exceptionally cute. Now, if you came to my house, you listening to me right now, if you came to my house and I just start skipping through my house, what would you think of me? If I invited you to my house to come like look in my closet to show you some dresses or just come into my bedroom for whatever reason, I just start jumping in my bed, what would you think of me? Or any woman who's over 30. And I just start jumping in my bed, running through the house for seemingly no reason, smiling. I want to sit on your lap. I want to lay my head on your chest. What are you going to think of me? What are you going to think of me? Somebody said crazy. Pretty face said crazy, right? What else? What y'all going to think of me if I do that? For real. What What you gonna think of me if you came to my house and I just started running, skipping through the house with just my panties on, nothing else, just my panties on. Listen, could you imagine being so alive in your body that that's actually how you live? But because our life force energy starts to get demonized, who knows, 10, depending on what house you're in or the age you are. How many of y'all was called fast because you were doing things that they felt like was too fast for your age? You start being called fast. You were highly curious as a teenager, and people say you're doing too much. You taking shit too serious. You know, you doing too much. You fast. Like, who you think you is? Like, the world is scary. Like, you right? Boom. And all of these statements, you're not gonna get a husband. Boys don't like that. And with each statement, you cut back some more, you cut back some more, then don't get to your 20s and not talking about marriage or thinking about marriage. What's gonna happen? When you get married? When you get married? You know you what's going on here? Right? So then and then it starts to get in there and you're like, well, damn, how I'm gonna get a and when you depending on who you are and your age and all that, listen, that's all I hear. And all that, you realize that you're not very in the you're not really into marriage, traditional marriage like that. Meaning the energy of like giving up yourself, that's what the whole bachelorette party is about. Like, let me live it up one more time, real hard, because once I get into marriage, it's over. Like, who came up with that? Your mother is mad at you for having standards with men. See, there you go. Mom's influence. When you gonna get married? You need a husband. Like what? And depending on how old she is, right? So as you start to dwindle down a little more, you started off skipping through the house, lit, but then with every statement, every experience that said that's too much, you're not gonna fit in, you don't fit into what we said what's normal for a woman. That's not normal for women. Y'all don't even know what the fuck is normal for women. If y'all only know, people don't know what's normal. They have no freaking clue. What's normal to them is a woman who's lying, but they don't know she's lying. And most of them don't even care that she's lying as long as they feel comfortable in her presence. As long as they get what they want out of her, she's good. This is fine. So with every cutting down of yourself to fit and be more like a normal woman, all your life force is now down. So you walk around being a normal woman, doing all the good things. And if you were to be in that life alive energy, 35, 45 years old, that my 3-year-old niece is, you'd be suspicious and demonized. You'd be suspicious. It's true. Most men do have low self-esteem. It's true. This is not about male bashing. This is just go exist around them. You'll see. Most of them are very insecure. Most of them have, well, that's what patriarchy did to them too. I know patriarchy is always talked about as if it only impacted women. What it did for them is it gave them an unearned position, like with what y'all call white supremacy. It gave white men an unearned status. So white men think that they're just naturally superior, that they're just naturally smarter, they're naturally privileged. They think that they're just not, because the system tells them so. That same kind of, I'm privileged because I'm male and white. I know what's right, I'm superior. The energy of that covers all males. It's just that what they also said is Black males exist beneath. And part of what makes Black men so vehement in a way that white men are not is that Black men are willing to compensate for the power that white men have, that they feel like they should have because I'm male too. I'm a male. I'm privileged. I'm superior. So it gave it to them without them actually being it. This is why men, no matter who they are, they think that because they have a penis and you have a coochie, that they're above you, that you are meant to give yourself to them. And then, like I said, everything that was laid down before we got here, one way through that Bible, that they just, and they, just like how we can see how white men actually believe the lie, they actually believe it. They'll kill your whole family to support the lie that they have. They'll create red line and all kind of laws to maintain their fake position, that they're naturally superior, that they're above everybody else, that they're privileged, that they know what's right, that they are God in a way. It's the same thing with men, not even just Black men, but men who hold that idea that that's just right. That's what natural order is. Like, really take that in, how profound that is. And this is what we're coming up against today when men are like, why aren't women like our mothers or our grandmothers? Why aren't you maintaining what the system has been for millions of years? First of all, y'all don't even know what the system has been for millions of years. Just stop the talking. Just stop. Yeah, just stop. Okay. Y'all don't even know what has been going on with folks for millions of years because things are not tracked that far back. It could trackable history, first of all. Second of all of trackable history shows women in disempowered position. So, like, yeah, well, she said, I kind of can't wait to see where this goes in the next 10 years. Well, it's already, we can sort of see where it's all going. As long as women are able to make their own money, ah, things have been able to be this way for a long time because women have depended on men for food and housing. That's what this comes down to, food and housing. And I know it seems trivial, but food and housing is the basis of what you need to survive here. And in many ways, we are still very much a survival species. Okay. So going back to the suspect and demonization of the woman's body, anything that's representative of a woman being alive in her body will be demonized in society. When you are alive in your body, the way we like don't want to be touched, think about you and your experience out in the world. We don't want to be touched. We're super suspect of everything. We mistrust everything. We're constantly like wanting to get alone, be alone. Um, uh, uh, which, by the way, part of, I'll speak for myself, it's like mm, people don't, so many of us, even us, okay, women who come into my realm who want power, and that's a whole other conversation. I'll say a bit and park it. Part of why we're not in power is because we don't even trust our own power. We don't trust our profundity and the results we will produce in our being and in our actual life when we trust the profoundness of who we are and the profoundness of our power. And we start making decisions in that direction and how that starts to compile over time. There's another word, so with a C. Compound, how that starts to compound over time when you make the decision, just like you make any decision, you decide you're going to get your finances together and you maintain that, how that, what's the word I just said? Compounds over time. So it's not working out for a week or working out for a month, is what your body looks like after you work out for a year. Okay, so that's compound, right? So when a woman makes the decision that she's going to be that rare woman who comes alive in her body, in her creativity, you become rare. And you make the decision today, and then you go that way over time, it compounds. And what you end up creating, not only in your body, how you look, how you feel, but also what you end up creating, it's another level of profound. So then other women who want it too, but they're not there yet, and this is a lot of my experience working in power and healing and restoration for women, is that they want to get to this place where I am, but everything that was in the way for me too, that I've reconciled, that I've transformed, that I'm healed, they come around me and their disbelief is still in the way. Is this making sense? Their disbelief is still in the way. And so it hurts to be around people who, first of all, who you love, because I love, it's like seeing people who you love don't let it get good. They're scared of letting it be really good all the time. So they sabotage, they project their limitations that they want to get over. And you are a reflection of what's possible, but they're still in disbelief. So they sort of at you. So I'm saying that because that's how sometimes why I want to spend a lot of time alone. It's like I know what it's like to be disconnected from your fullness. And so you make decisions from that place, you live from that place. So you vibrate a certain way, you think a certain way, you move a certain way. And it takes a real dedication where there's compound results for you to get to this illuminated space. And so many of us don't have somebody in our lives. Because, like I said, this is rare for women to really come alive. Like true order, for a woman to come into her actual power for true order, she's going to have to sustain over time. And this is why I'm putting forth my Heal Your Witch Wound, because it's going to help you start if you're sincere. And then you come into the community, you continue, and you're good. There are women, Sandra is one of them. She was at Women in Italy. So much, she and I met like earlier this year, like maybe March. She came to Women in Italy and she was talking about how since I met Naima and I made this choice and I came this direction this far in just 6 months, so much has happened in 6 months in her growth and her getting to know herself and living and not just existing the way so many women are. But it takes time and it compounds over time who you become. Heal your witch wound right now. Do you want to illuminate? Do you have a book that you're so ready to sit down and write the table of contents for? Get the manuscript together so you can send it to the publisher or publish it yourself. Then be able to have the energy and the life force and the excitement to go on a whole marketing campaign to sell the book. Do you want that? Answer me. Do you want the kind of energy and power where you manifest so much more easier than having to work hard all the time? Your working hard becomes much more sensational and physiological than it is working like that. I don't think I saw somebody who put my thing is not a man, my thing is I'm lazy and the work to sustain. Again, that's thinking through a male mind. See, in the male mind, hard work is laborious. It's work, work, work. Through the female mind, your body is front and center. When you get into a relationship with your body, which is a big part of what Heal Your Witch Wound helps you do, because there's an exercise in there that shows you how to take up space in a practical, real way. Taking up space is very much so physiological because, one, the demonization of the woman's body. So we're unconsciously all the time wanting to be smaller, appear nicer, appear safe, don't take up too much space. So we play small. We don't want the camera on us. We don't like our voice. We don't want to be seen. Yes. So there's an exercise inside of Heal Your Witch Wound that's specifically about taking up space. Who here is ready to take up more space? Let me know in the comments. And to get Heal Your Witch Wound, you get immediate access when you buy it. It immediately comes to your email inbox. Go to the link in my bio, click it, and you click Heal Your Witch Wound. YouTube, the link will be in the description, or you can go to naimasingletary.com/witch wound. naimasingletary.com/witch wound. Witch is one of those words they've used to keep women ashamed of who they are. That's why it's there. And in so many of the conversations I've had with women, the word comes up. I'm scared of being called a witch. My grandmother started calling me a witch when I was 8. They called me a demon. They told me I was doing too much. Heal your witch wound. How many of you in your body, you feel nervous about taking up more space? Your body just feels a sort of increase in your nervous system, a tension in your body, and just the thought of taking up more space in the world. Being seen, having lots of eyeballs on you, whether it's adoration and respect and wanting to buy what you have, or people who are casting judgment, looking at you suspiciously. Who do you think you are? Doubting the goodness of you, the authenticity of you. I am so over my time. I was supposed to be somewhere now. I'm still gonna go too. Good. Any questions before I go? Any questions before I go? Who's getting Heal Your Witch Wound? Who is getting Heal Your Witch Wound right now, right now, right now, right now? You get immediate access, you can start right now or over the weekend. You're very welcome, KIY. All right, Shakti. Doctor, you need to bring your behind. One thing I'll say in closing is for those of you who are ready for accountability, okay? Accountability. Because I know not everybody is ready for accountability. But for those of you who are, if you're ready to be around women sustainably, okay, who are having these taboo conversations around your power, who are actively engaging in the work to own the naughty power, the shameful power, the embarrassing behavior that a lot of us avoid or are shadow behavior, unconscious behavior that has us looking sneaky, being sneaky, and instead we want to be pure and true. Okay, we want to be pure and true, and we want to be in relationship with other women who are doing this level of work for full power. You most definitely should apply to come to my womanhood initiation that's happening next Monday. Again, only if you're ready for accountability. I know a lot of us are like, want to do what we want to do, because, bitch, I ain't got time. Okay. This is not for you if you are that. Okay. Well, here, I'll say this. y'all gonna do what y'all want to do anyway. What I'm saying is there's a kind of adherence to, and a respect also, a respect um, for the work itself, for me as someone who's out here doing this work, and a self-respect that's always a part of the equation to be in relationship with women who are doing this level of work. Just imagine if all the debauchery started coming around as you were trying to do transformational work and high level work and collective work. Debauchery just starts showing up all over the place because we doing what we want to do. Okay, just be mindful of that. And the more you start to really respect you and the work that you do, you start to respect other women who are doing the same thing. So that's why I say that if you're ready for this kind of accountability and you're sincere and you're ready to regard yourself highly and therefore regard other women highly who are doing this level of work, and you're ready for humility, this is who I recommend apply for my womanhood initiation, which is happening on Monday. And again, you can go to the link in my bio to apply. Go to the link in the bio to get Heal Your Witch Wound, to sign up for the Erotic Path newsletter, and to submit an application or the registration to come to my womanhood initiation on Monday. All right, 30 seconds and I'm out of here. Any questions? If you've been here, you ain't got no question because you've been here. Shakti, you need to show up or else. Okay? If you know you're not, the fear is in the way too much and you don't want to do something bigger, because the better way to counteract body fear and unconscious blocks. I'm working. I'm just working. I'm so busy. I'm busy. I know I'm there, but I'm just so busy. I gotta go work. There's no way. To counteract that, you do something aggressively in the power direction. That's what you do. Otherwise, you're going to cower. Well, now's not a good time. I thought I was ready to commit, but not really. Like, I can't really, not right now. I'm just not ready to commit at that level. Like I thought I was, but I don't know. Not now, not now. I know. Maybe another time. Okay. Y'all take good care of yourselves.